So in this chapter we'll be discussing about debt restructuring, CDR. Okay, CDR stands for corporate debt restructuring. So there are occasions when corporates find themselves in financial difficulties because of uncontrollable factors. That is, these are not willful defaults. These are for some genuine reasons, factors which are beyond the control of the company. Say for example, the particular industry could be as a whole not doing well, or there could be some economic conditions like high interest rates or recession. So there are some instances where due to factors beyond the control of the company is not doing well. Okay, so for revival of such corporates, right, and as well as to protect the money lent by bankers, so timely support of restructuring is required. Restructuring, as we discussed earlier, is changing the terms of repayment. So it could be like extending the repayment period. Say for example, initially it was 60 monthly installments. Now we might increase it to 72 monthly installments, or it could be reducing the amount quantum of installment. Earlier it was 5,000. Now you can reduce it to 4,000 or 3,000. So restructuring could take up many forms. The delay in agreement among different lending institutions is usually an impediment. In these sort of cases, say in large accounts, we discussed that a consortium or a group of company bankers, or in multiple banking arrangement, a group of bankers finance to the company. Now, if there is not agreement among the lending institutions, okay, then this restructuring could be will not go smoothly. So for that purpose, CDR was introduced. CDR is an institutional mechanism for restructuring of corporate debt restructuring. Okay, so it's voluntary and non-statutory system. Is based on DCA, that is debtor creditor agreement, and an ICA, that is inter-creditor agreement. So creditors are, you can think of them as raw material suppliers. Okay, so creditor is for a company, creditor will be the raw material suppliers. Debtors will be the people to whom the company has sold goods on credit. Okay, so this is based on system of approval by supermajority of 75% creditors. Okay, so it means if the 75% majority, the creditors agree for say a particular decision, is binding on the remaining 25% even if they don't agree. So that is the basis of this system. So CDR mechanism will cover only large accounts. Okay, so large accounts in the sense that aggregate exposure of about 10 crore and above. 100 million, 1 million is 10 lakhs. Okay, so this is 10 crores and above. So large accounts will come under CDR mechanism, and it covers only accounts under multiple banking and consortium accounts indication. Okay, so all the banks put together, if they have outstanding exposure of exceeding 10 crores, then they can oppose the CDR mechanism. So even cases filed in DRTs and BIFR can be, suit file cases also eligible under CDR. So as we said earlier, the legal basis is provided by the DCA and ICA, and all banks in the CDR system are required to enter into legally binding ICA with necessary penalty provisions. So the most important part, as we said earlier, is the 75% creditors, if they agree to a restructuring package, it will be binding on all the remaining creditors. Okay, so the DCA will be binding an agreement for 90 or 180 days. During this period, the debtors and creditors will agree that they are not going to take any legal recourse during this period. The standstill agreement period is required because CDR system should function smoothly without any judicial intervention. Okay, for that purpose, they have this standstill period of 90 or 180 days. During this period, all the parties agree that they are not going to take any legal recourse against the company. So CDR is a three-tier mechanism. It has a standing form, empowered group, and CDR cell. So standing form is the top tier, apex tier of the CDR mechanism. So it is a general body of all financial institution banks participating in CDR system. So it comprises chief executives of all banks and financial institutions. So it basically is like a decision making body, a policy making body. It lays down the policies and guidelines to be followed by the below layers. The below layers are the empowered group and CDR cell. So the forum meets at least once in 6 months, and the CDR core group, there will be a CDR core group that is carved out of this CDR standing form, that will be assisting the forum in convening meetings and taking decisions, policy decisions. So core group consists of chief executives of big banks like IDBI, SBI, ICICI, Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, PNB, IBA, that's the Indian Bankers Association. Okay, so all this will be part of the CDR core group. So CDR standing form is the apex policy making tier of the CDR. Then there will be the actual implementing tier, that is the empowered group. So individual cases. So there will be, say a company is facing difficulties in repaying installments, and now it's referred to CDR. So these individual cases will be taken up by the empowered group. Standing form will not take up this individual case. Standing form is just the highest tier, sets the policy decisions, okay, and the guidelines. The actual implementation case to case basis will be considered by the CDR empowered group. So CDR empowered group will be comprising of the ED, that is the executive director level representatives from IDBI, ICICI, State Bank of India's standing members. In addition, there will be ED level representatives also. So the board of all banks will be authorizing their CEOs, okay, or EDs to decide on the restructuring package in respect of cases referred to CDR system. So the participating banks will approve a panel of senior officers to represent them at CDR AG, and they will depute officials only from among that panel. Okay, so ECG, the EG will consider the preliminary flash report. So the CDR cell, that is the bottom tier, will prepare a flash report. This report will be considered by the EG, and if the EG prima facie decides that okay, this company is eligible for restructuring, this is a genuine case and this is a viable unit, this could be revived, then based on the guidelines of the standing forum, a restructuring package will be worked out in consultation with the CDR cell. So the empowered group will be mandated to look into each case of debt restructuring, examine the viability and approve the restructuring package within a period of 90 to 180 days. Okay, so the EG will be meeting on 2 occasions. For every case, it will meet on 2 occasions. One, to discuss the flash and final report. Okay, so this will be providing an opportunity for the members to take proper authorization from the respective banks, the top level, CE or ED. And in cases where critical parameters are beyond their authority, they'll be discussing. Okay, and remember that the decision of EG are final. If the restructuring is found to be viable and feasible, then the company will put on the restructuring board. And in case it's not found viable, then the creditors are free to take whatever steps to recover the dues, okay, including say a liquidation of winding up. So the standing members of EG facilitate the conduct of group meetings. Voting is proportional to the exposure and number of lenders only. So the bottom title is a CDR cell. All references will be made to the CDR cell, and it is the responsibility of the lead institution. Say there are a group of bankers, 5 bankers have lent to the company. There will be some banker who has taken the maximum share. Okay, that lead banker it's that bank's responsibility to work out this preliminary restructuring plan and submit to the CDR cell. Okay, so the CDR cell will make the initial scrutiny. Okay, and then if any clarifications are required, that will be called for, and then it will be recommending, it will be placing this in front of the CDR empowered group within 30 days to decide whether this restructuring is prima facie feasible or not. And if found feasible, the banks will take up the work of preparing the detailed plan in conjunction with CDR cell. Okay, and if it's not found prima facie feasible, then the lenders can start their own action. So in this chapter, you have to prepare for questions like what is full form of CDR, what is the purpose of CDR, what is the standstill duration, what is 3-tier structure, what is CDR as standing form, what is CDR, who comprises CDR as standing form, the members, what is the function of CDR standing form, what is CDR core group, that is a group carved out of the standing form, what is CDR empowered group. We discussed all this, who comprises CDR empowered group, what is CDR cell, and what is the function of CDR cell.